Excuses. Excuses, I know. So we're going to go to our test sky material, and we're going to change this to, I'm going to try unhooking this thing from here, clearing this, and we're going to use the source export. Alright, so that is a cube map inside of, so that's just the worst skybox you're ever gonna see, but it's a skybox, all right. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna look a little bit more into the skybox material stuff that they have for theirs. What I'm looking for is, where did they have that starlight thing that was... Like, they just have this emissive color going on. Where was the input they used to, like, bloom everything up? Fitting graphics stitched together head to toe? No idea really what you mean there. It's basically just a sphere, and you're using the camera vector to inside of the skybox to determine the pixel color. So the camera vector is basically just the vector that you're looking out at. So if your texture space is all in 3 dimensions, nicely mapped, then where you're looking, with the vector to that pixel is just, there you go, your straight lookup. So when we export an actual cube map, it's already, isn't the picture tiled? No, the picture is not tiled. No, the picture is not tiled. It's... This view right here is 360-degree globe unwrapped and slapped onto the screen. So this picture is wrong. The only way you could view this is if you were inside of this globe. So this is, the map of the world right here. This is North America right here, South America, Africa's over here, Europe, Asia, and Australia's like somewhere over here. Nobody cares. So no, it's never tiled. That's why it's all stretched and crap, like Antarctica would be stretched at the top and bottom. Alright, so this is where we have those star brightness parameters, and it's feeding into this emissive color. Which they're taking the star texture with our texture coordinates. No idea what a jizz is there. So we have these texture coordinates passed in, which are multiplied by the star brightness. multiply by sun height. We add it to the sphere mask, sun radius shit. And we lerp based on this other thing. Alright, well, let's make sure the material is proper. So it's surface opaque unlit, surface opaque unlit, let's see, fully rough, tangent space normals, use full precision, use light map directionality, no tessellation, TPD sphere, orbit pitch, yeah, alright. Well, you're talking about stuff I have no idea about, so hopefully you at least know what you're talking about, because I cannot verify it. So let's see, do we need to invert the camera position? Does that matter? No. Okay, so we probably shouldn't invert the camera position. Now, my question is, how did they get that bloom going on there? So if they had that crazy bloom in there, let's see if we have a color. God. All this garbage having open. Alright, so that's how they were achieving a glowing effect with the bloom. Is basically you can add a whole hell of a lot of white or something else like that. So we could definitely amp up the white on the color and things like that. So what we'd want to do if we wanted to have like the stars pop out is we would want to have another cube map here with just the stars, and then we could multiply that by a very large number, and then we would be able to have the stars just like glow. Super ridiculous amazingness. So why don't we see if we can do that real quick. So we take this cube map and we save it. We're going to save it as like, let's see, the test nebula cube. And let's see, we want to take out so we want to take all these nebulas and make them invisible. So point stars, stars, billboard stars, 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 nebula. Nebula mask? Stars, stars, nebula mask, and nebula. Alright, so this is stars only. So let's try exporting this skybox as a, I guess, a source 1024. Let's see what we can do with it. And this is me experimenting. Like, I want to see how to make a night sky using some basic shader stuff in Unreal. So we're gonna say stars. This will be source stars 1024. So we'll save that. Where the hell do we save that? The thing is, this Spacescapes thing isn't saving the folder that I'm saving to, so it likes to save to its own folder. Whoops, wrong thing. Yeah, it saves to like its own save folder as opposed to something that I would like to save to. How dare they? How dare they? How dare this free program not like be completely well behaved? So what we should be able to do is basically we can apply some basic filters to this. So if we've got like the base nebula and all that crap in the background, we can use a different sort of thing on that. So this needs to be HDR. And I don't think the alpha coverage stuff matters at all. I think it's just, it needs to be HDR. What we can do is we can adjust this so it'll be more black and white and all that sort of stuff. It just looks so horrible with like on a low res thing. So it's probably very important that we have high res background maps, right? I mean, that kind of makes sense. Alright, so we go to our material here, and what we want to do is we want to take a different one. We want source stars, cube map, and it's again the same with the camera vector. And what we're going to want to do is multiply this by something and then add that in there. So let's multiply this by 20. Now all of our stars show up. And if we want to make them just go insane, right? Oh god, what have we done? And this is what it looks like right now. Basically, I can take our base color here and be like, okay, well, we will apply, you know, like 0.1 of the nebula stuff. And then we can kind of, you know, make a different looking area. And it's kind of unfortunate that our whole cube map, like the only thing we're looking at is this tiny little chunk of it. So in some respects, we don't want like a whole cube map if we're only looking at this tiny little piece of it. Because, you know, it's like we're using this little section of the sky here, but we have to render out all the rest of this garbage. So let's see if we can do something about that. Maybe compress the sky a little bit. What am I doing? I'm multiplying a camera vector? That's not really what I want to do. I want to take the camera vector and slam it into some point. A curved background with opacity? Well, I mean, not necessarily. I mean, if this thing is in 3D space and we want to how do we want to transform our camera vector? It's basically we're taking a vector and we want to have it expand out. Like, it wouldn't be shooting straight forward. We actually want it to shoot a little bit off and then exponentially kind of curve out. And that's going to shrink the area. We'd have to know which direction we're looking into. And we basically want to multiply, like, I guess the X. This is going to be the Y and the Z. So we want to, like, break out a float 3 component. And then we want to create so if we take our float 3 and we take these two see, we're concentrating all this, we're warping it. We're just not warping it along the axes we want. camera vector is going to be, this is multiplying the x by itself. And this is also multiplying by the sine, so we're losing precision around there to gain precision over here. So I guess we probably want to do the same thing where we want to lose precision in the, so the x vector, we want to lose precision in that. We want to lose it, I guess we want to lose around all of them. I guess it's 1 minus. We want to lose precision not where these two are smallest, but where they are greatest. Alright, so we're losing a lot of precision around that spot. Well, instead of screwing around with all this, maybe I should actually just work with what we have and just see what we can do with that. Because this is a very low res thing. But their star map looked better because it was being tiled in a lot of ways. So if we look at their stars, it was basically this texture coordinate 1. With the stars, and they were just adding it in there. So there's something to be said for just having a nice star texture there and not really worrying too much about the rest. I like a weird bloom thing coming off here. Maybe that's just my eyes getting all screwed up. So I guess the skybox isn't necessarily the most effective thing that we need. Yeah, there is definitely a blue bit of something going on there with that mountain coming off of it. Some sort of blending. Well, it's not the sphere, really. It's the... Like, we need a piece of geometry, right? But that piece of geometry needs to be rendered at infinity. So it doesn't really matter if it's a sphere or not. It just needs to be something. If it's a sphere, then the UV coordinates match up properly. That's kind of the thing. It's more of how we're mapping stuff than anything else. Anyway, I will be right back. Yeah, Calvin and Karakan, the big thing there is, like, if, this is all just experimental, but if the program you're using has this 360 space and that's what you're looking at, and then what you see in the game is not that 360 space, then your tools are wrong and you're never going to know what the hell you're making and how it's going to look in the game. And that's just not a very good workflow. So it's like, it's... And that's kind of the other thing there. Yeah, the sky sphere stuff can be moved around and all that. So I'm kind of trying to work within the constraints of that system and also kind of learn more of it. And a cube map can be used with the sky sphere stuff. All we have to do is apply the the camera vector lookups, and boom, we've got it. And I kind of want to, that's kind of what I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to build towards the sky sphere and understand how each chunk works. And it's kind of easier sometimes to start with something messed up. So what have we learned so far? Notes. The cube map is very good at light detail stuff. Very bad for things that need high detail, like stars. So I mean, that's what you can kind of take away from that is, if we have a lot of detail in our cube map needs to be absolutely gigantic, and that's stupid. To give you an example here, this star field is like a 512 by 512 texture, and it looks infinitely more detailed than the cube map that was 4096 by 4096. It's just absolutely stupid, right? Like, you're never going to get the precision you need for something in here using a cube map if you want like nice crisp details. That's what I'm seeing, at least. Like, we might be able to get clouds or something like that with a cube map, but we're not going to be able to get points and nice details. Like if we had the, the planet Saturn out there and we had a big ring that was supposed to come up over the horizon or something when we were in a sci-fi game, it would not look good. Okay, so okay, so this is just our basic nebula and then our star field. So we've got like, 1 going on there. Multiply by 1, add nothing to it. Super light. Alright, yeah, the material editor doesn't always show up nicely in game. So this is just like our basic nebula and then our stars. And that's real interesting that our nebula moves, but our stars don't. So it basically tells me, what the fuck is texture coordinate 1 then? Like, what is this thing? Alright. Are the clouds moving? I mean, is the background moving there, or are the stars moving, and the stars moving is making it look like the nebula is moving? Looks like the nebula is not moving, but the stars are. It's like if I put this one star right here, and I move. Yeah, so the star is moving. But what the hell is wrong with my brain that it thinks that the clouds are the things that are moving, not the stars, when it's really the stars that are moving? Like, the stars are moving on the screen. The brain is a really messed up thing. It's used to the stars not moving, so my brain's like, oh yeah, it's obviously the clouds moving, but it's not. When you actually measure it, you put your mouse right there. It'd be like if the things that's moving on the screen is not the star, it's the clouds. Stupid brain, what are you doing? Alright, so let's take a look at what texture coordinate 1 is and like where is it coming from? So we have this sky material. So the only thing that can be passing in a texture coordinate 1 is going to be our test skybox. No. Actually, why don't we... Yeah, our test skybox, if I throw this in here, looks like that. It's a sphere, inverted. It's like a crystal ball you can look into. But it's, there's something else going on with this copy. Well, the thing is, I'm confused as to, like, obviously there's something else that's causing things to happen. Like, we have all these 21 overridable functions. Like, we have... Are they all just from an actor? And... Is it that this category? Like, there's something hidden about this blueprint, this blueprint night sky. There's a sub button? What are you talking about? There is not a sub button. Cannot possibly be a subscribe button. I have a subscribe button. I don't believe you. I'll have to take a look at this. the hell did I get a subscribe button? I mean, nobody told me I was getting a subscribe button. What the f- They're getting them out for affiliates. Alright. Well, that's pretty awesome. Now, if only Twitch could tell me why this night sky blueprint. Dear Twitch, please solve all my problems. Sincerely. Yeah. Hey, if they could do it, I'd be alright with that. The only thing I can see here is this replication net cull distance squared. I guess that's just always grab it. Pivot offset. Yeah. Well, I really don't see what is going on with this. See, this is where I like code better than this blueprint stuff. Is there's something that this night sky is doing in order to put itself off at infinity like this, and I can't find where the hell it is. Well, I mean, usually money solves all your problems at some point. So let's see. When we are inside of this thing, we get the same effect as this. So let's just see what's different. There's a default sky material on this one. Alright, well, why don't we... Can I copy this? We want a sky material, which is a material instance. Material instance. Reference. Alright, so we'll have a sky material. So we click on this. Sky material is not showing up there in default. So what is the sky material? It is... Please compile the blueprint. Alright. Alright, it shows up now. So let's see, rendering. Now we've got all this like find camera. Well, I guess people can now subscribe. That's pretty cool. The I guess I can quit my day job, right? I wouldn't recommend it. Let's see, so we have our replication, our billboard scale, hidden in game is there. But we have all these extra, like find camera in viewport and pivot offset and ignores origin, blah. Like, these are all the same. What day job? Exactly. I mean, we've got a construction script over here. We've got one over here, too. Net load on client can be damaged. On camera component. Allow tick on dedicated server. So I guess this category thing doesn't matter because it's just the category in this stuff that we've got. All the stuttering? Everything looks good on my end. Oh, I see. This test night sky has a scale of 400. So, if I use my test skybox, I can delete this copy. Alright, cool. So, I'm slowly learning. This test skybox literally has nothing in it. Yeah, I'm seeing my own stream on Twitch working properly, so I can't tell you. I can't tell you what's going on. Alright, so we have figured out what inside of this is working and what inside of this is not working. So we can actually go back to our empty skybox and use that. Okay. So we can do the same thing with star brightness. And have super bright stars. Did that make the entire scene brighter? See, this is another thing. The material didn't update, even though it did update in my editor. And yeah, I think it did make the entire scene brighter. That's interesting to think about. So, what is that? The skylight takes the render of the entire scene and sky sphere and applies that as global light. So we can make the sky brighter. You can make the scene brighter by adding more stars, which is pretty decent. Yeah, and if you're thinking like it's getting choppy because like the frame rate slows down, it may be that I've clicked off of Unreal and then this update is real choppy. So that may be what you're experiencing. Is I'm looking at something else. Alright, so let's see, how did they put the sun in their other thing? So in their test sky, they've got, you know, the sun off in Infinity Land. How'd they do that? I mean, it's inside of their material, right? Isn't it? So we've got sun. So they have the sun color, they have the sun radius, they have a sphere mask, and they're taking the light direction, the camera vector dotted with the light direction. They're gonna multiply that out, and then they are lerping and then adding, multiplying. They're not really explaining what they're doing to make the sun though. Let's think. What's this doing? We are taking the camera vector and the light direction. So we're normalizing the light direction. So this is a direction vector for the light. So we have the direction of the light. We're going to dot that with the camera vector. So we take where we're looking. We dot that with the light direction. And then we make a sphere mask based on that. So So why don't we draw that for ourselves? And we don't need this cube map 2 in here. We don't need this multiply either. Or this add. Let me just simplify that. Well, I guess before I figure that out, I should probably figure out what this texture coordinate 1 is. Let's see, what is? So, I mean, I guess texture coordinates, this is actually going to be the UV coordinates on the sky sphere mesh itself. So if we popped open the sky sphere mesh, we want to replace this with the test sky material. So we've got our wireframe for our sphere here. Is it really 2 spheres? No. It's our sphere that we have and then the sphere we're rendering. Okay, so we have our UVs. Okay, so we are actually using channel 1's texture coordinates, which are, I guess, the unwrap. So basically we've got this, basically a regularly wrapped thing, and then we've got on the sky sphere, it's actually nicely mapped already for us, so we don't have to worry about that. Okay, so they've already done the work for us, so text coordinate 1 is actually a nice repeating texture all the way around, so that's not like some magical shenaniganry. That's, we can actually leave ourselves some notes here.